push past the pain barrier and become ruthless. Alright, so here's the thing. In life, you obviously can't avoid pain. Now, probably the worst thing you can do regarding pain is to think that pain equals bad. Pain doesn't actually equal bad. I mean, here's the thing. There's a reason why you have an emotion like pain. It's like, pain isn't there to make you feel like shit. That's not the point of pain. I mean, pain obviously has a purpose. So the question is, well, what purpose does pain have? Why do you feel pain? Pain, usually, is there so that you can change. This is kind of one of the most important aspects of pain. Because people usually don't like to change. So if there is no pain, then there's really no reason to change. And so it's important to note that. But then the reason why most people don't get to the point of changing, though, is this. You got, on one side, you got kind of just pain. Then you got this wall here. You get this wall here in between. And then on the other side of that, you got aggression. And you got action. Now, usually, what people do is people are over here on the left side. And they let pain keep them down. Okay? People feel. Like, you might feel something like heartbreak. And what you don't wanna do is just stay on this side, just walk around here, be like, I don't wanna change. So instead of just pushing through here, what you do is you just do like bad habits. So now you just get into shit like smoking, drinking. You're effectively on this side of the pain and aggression equation. You're really just coping. Now, what you want to do, and this is probably the healthiest way to deal with pain, is you don't cope, first of all. I'll go through that in a bit of detail. But first of all, you don't fucking cope. And then what you want to do is you want to feel the pain, because you're not coping. And once you do that enough in a specific way, it then allows you to push through the pain, through this barrier here in the middle. It allows you to push through it. I know all of a sudden you got insane momentum for aggression and action. But if you let pain keep you down, like you're on the left side, if you get scared of pain, shit ain't gonna happen. And that's, so like step one is you can't be afraid of pain. So pain isn't bad. Like, you have to get that idea of pain being bad out of your head. It's not. So pain isn't bad. And so the first step is to understand that. And the first step is to not shy away from pain. Pain is there to help you. Okay? You can think about it like this. If you really want to make progress in a gym, what do you want to feel? Because it ain't happiness. It ain't being relaxed. It's more like hate. Hate is good. I mean, it can also be something like not really sadness, because sadness is kind of like you're just kind of down if you're sad, so you don't really want to be sad. Like it could be even like envy, but like you want to push through to the aggressive side of the emotion, and so it's like hate, like stuff like heartbreak, like it's like you feel betrayed and you just wanna like be fucking ruthless. Okay? But so the way you get here is usually, like let's say you're down, usually what you have to do is take yourself from, let's say you're sad, usually you have to take yourself from this side to more of the like, well let's call it this, more of the like dark side. Okay? Like fucking Star Wars reference here. But you wanna go from being here kinda on the good side, yeah, I'm happy, to like switching to the dark side. Now, of course, this doesn't mean fucking permanently. This doesn't mean like you gotta walk around in social situations like this. Although, be it that there is always kind of a dark side, but you don't want to walk around in social situations like that. It's more of a switch that you want to be able to make in your mind when you're alone. Because the times you make the most amount of progress, it doesn't matter if it's work, it doesn't matter if it's the gym, it's when you are on this dark side, when you're like full of rage, when you're full of hate. It's always on this side. Now, one thing to notice, you don't wanna be, you don't wanna still feel inferior. Like you don't want to get angry because you feel inferior. That's not it. But so all of this is to say that there is this idea. So you wanna go from left to right, from sadness to kind of hate, or to rage, to aggression. But the way you do it is there is this concept of the actual barrier that I've already kind of talked about. So there's this spot in between here. And you want to go from side A to side B. So here you got all kind of the emotions that don't help you here on the left side, whereas on the right side you got like the action, where you got everything you ever wanted. Now the way you get through here is you kind of gotta, so you gotta push here. This is where you start to feel pain, let's say. Now, usually what people do, okay, the gym is painful, let me go back. I don't really want to do this, okay. I don't like being on a dopamine detox, they circle back. What you need to do is push through. Now this part will be painful. Like, you're not gonna avoid it, you're not gonna go to the gym and deadlift and not have it be painful. It doesn't work like that. Of course it's painful, because you're at the gym. Like, you're literally tearing your muscles apart. It's gonna be fucking painful. Like, you're not gonna avoid it. And so, in order for you to push through here, you need to just get comfortable with being in pain. Like, that's what you have to do. You have to get comfortable with being in pain. And so, one thing that helps is when you understand this. So first, this is gonna feel like shit. But then weirdly, if you just keep staying in the pain, like you go to the gym, like you start to do the bicep curl, it hurts. But weirdly what happens if you just don't quit is that you'll come out here on the other side and you almost start to enjoy pain. Okay? There's a mental switch that happens when you just don't quit. And that switch takes you from kind of being a bitch here on this side to pushing through all of this pain here and ending up in a place where you almost enjoy it, or at the very least you're comfortable in it, and you're in a sense intrigued by it, and that then allows you to push way harder. Because this mental switch that happens when you go from not being used to pain at all to being in pain and then just not quitting and really trying to push through it, you end up in this situation where you're almost looking forward to, let's say, your next gym session. You like ask yourself, how much can you tolerate? Also, this is how you become a complete savage. But you gotta push through the pain initially. But once you do that, you'll get out on the other side, and you'll have this sense of energy that most people don't touch. So you'll get through the other side, and now you're just fucking ruthless. It's like you start to look at yourself in the mirror and go, what the fuck have I done? Like, one thing this can happen is, like, it doesn't have to be the gym. It can be you set yourself an almost impossible task, and you don't feel like doing it at all. You feel like shit, but then you somehow get the task done. Okay, this shit is gonna give you a massive high. And also, not only is it gonna give you a massive high, you're gonna feel fucking invincible. And it comes specifically from the fact that you felt pain, but you pushed through it. And here's the thing, the more painful this is, the more pain you can go through, the more powerful this shit's gonna feel. So if you haven't done this at all, what you can do is just do something lightweight. Light, maybe quick, in a sense easy. It doesn't even have to be a cold shower, it can be a cool shower. Like, if you're not used to pain at all, it can be something like this. Now, you wanna do this because avoiding pain will just fucking cost you everything. So, get into a cool shower if you're not used to that. Push through it, and that's gonna give you way more power and drive than you felt before. Now, the issue is so this is all good. This is kind of how you go on an offensive. You feel the pain. Let's say you're at the gym. You go, shit, okay, the pain barrier. Okay, let me push through. Boom. You get done with the reps, like you actually can't physically do the last rep. Bam, okay. That's how you become a savage. Now, the reason why that's so important is partially because of what happens if you actually avoid pain. Here's the thing. Avoiding pain will not negate pain. You'll feel the same amount of, well, no, actually you won't feel the same amount of pain, you feel more pain. So avoiding pain will not get rid of pain. That's not how this shit works. Like, if you go to the gym and a bicep curl feels a bit hard, so you skip it, and then you skip it because it's painful every single time. Of course it is, you're at the gym. If you keep skipping it, it's not like you're gonna have less pain, you'll have more. Because now, instead of the pain of doing the biceps, instead of having the pain of this, you now have the pain of your literal existence. And this is a way more fucked up form of pain. But even here, you can take this pain and weaponize it and push through and become a savage. But if you try to mask this pain, if you try to avoid the pain, if you try to hide from it, it's gonna fuck up your life. Because now, let's say you don't want to do a job interview, maybe you're done a couple, they haven't really gone through, so that feels a bit painful. Well, this shit now is gonna stop you from doing a job interview, And now you maybe don't have the career you want, whatever the fuck. And then that in turn will cause you more pain. And so you turn into a complete shell of what you should be. So you have to push through pain. Because if you don't, you're only gonna increase the actual amount of pain that you feel 24/7. And also, not only do you feel pain 24/7, you also feel weak. You also don't really like yourself anymore. Also, this is the consequence of not pushing through pain. Whereas on the other side of this, if you push through pain, you feel like you get this fucking big dick energy. You feel like the fucking man. You feel like the fucking shit. You're a complete savage. You become ruthless. You just go ahead. Pain doesn't matter. You just go get what the fuck you want. And that's how you roll. So it's either kind of this depressing side, or this almost like, yeah. So like on the left side you kind of got the depression with all the fucking negative emotions, sadness, not being willing to push through the pain. But you're here, and so you end up just staying here, a complete loser. Whereas if you push through, you almost end up on what people would call like the villain arc. Like you'll scroll through IG or some shit. I see these reels of someone like going through heartbreak, and then all of a sudden they're at the gym. Now they're at the gym, they're eating clean, whatnot. And now all of that pain gets channeled into these things, and all of a sudden they're way ahead. But all of this comes from a somewhat dark place. As you have to go through the pain. If this is what you want. If you want the money, if you want the women, if you want whatever the fuck you want, you gotta go through the pain. There is no like... Look, I don't remember who said it, but it was someone who said... Might have been Churchill. Like, if you're walking through hell, you don't fucking stop in hell. Now, of course, he didn't say it exactly like that. But point is, if this pain here would be the equivalent of hell. And here you got weakness. On the left side. On the left side you got weakness. In the middle you got pain / hell. And on the right side you got like being ruthless and almost in a sense being numb to the pain. But being a G, having like everything you ever wanted. What you don't fucking do, okay, is stop here in the middle. As you might say, well what if I just don't go in the first place? Well, the issue is you already feel pain. Like, if you look at your life, there has to be at least one thing that you're not really proud of. One thing you're not happy with. Now, I'm not saying you have to be negative. Not at all. Like, you can be grateful. But there has to be something you want to improve. And so, you're already in this middle zone. You don't get to go back out here. You're already in the middle part, so now, like, if you stop now, you're just gonna feel more and more and more pain. So you literally just have to go forward. Like, it's, if you've seen the physique you can have by going to the gym, you closing your eyes isn't gonna get that picture out of the imagination of your mind. It's not, it's there. And so the only way to deal with that is to go through. Now, obviously, you don't fucking need to have body dysmorphia or any shit like that. But if you don't go through, I like actually push through the pain and actually go for what you want, this is just gonna increase, and this shit's just gonna feel way worse and worse and worse and worse. As you have to push through and become a ruthless motherfucker. I mean, look, it's like essentially what Goggins did. Pretty much exactly. Like, motherfucker's life was complete shit. Motherfucker was like 600 pounds or some ridiculous amount. Maybe not 600, but still. A motherfucker decided to push through all the pain, fucking hell weak bodies for the fucking Navy SEAL. And now, Motherfuckers just ruthless. Runs like there's no fucking finish line. Whatnot. So, push through the pain. Unless you want your life to be shit. But if you don't want your life to be shit, you push through the pain. And you'll end up switching in this mode where you're not worried about pain anymore. You actually use it to mark where you should go next to improve yourself. You almost start to hunt it down like you'd hunt down fear. And that's how you become a ruthless motherfucker. Alright, that's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.